I don't have a clue of how to start this video, but I will start it like saying I made one of these about a month ago on the same creator who did this on the first video of this. I think it's 19-part series, and I want to react to more because I fucking love this. But of course, I'm gonna have to record these all in bulk. I'm sorry for the wait. I've been really freaking busy. I will make videos soon. Also, I would like video recommendations to see what people want to see. Because if you want them, I will make them. Or I'll do my best anyways. Anyway, just comment and see on what you want to see. And subscribe and like the video, as freaking always.
Hello, hello! This is part 2 of a video series where I'm sharing my concept for a sort of dream Pokemon game. Last time we went over the very basics of the region and explained everything about the starter Pokemon. Very important Pokemon for sure, but the next most important Pokemon are the legendaries. Especially the box legendaries.
Of course, you always need 2 box legendaries. You got Reshiram and Zekrom, Yveltal, or Yveltal, if you're a loser, and Xerneas, and then you have freaking the other ones, Zamazenta, Zacian, you know, all the other classics.
And that is what this video is all about. Pokemon Blazing Bloom and Frigid Fall brings you to...
Ooh, I like the names. I don't think I heard those in the last video. But anyway, that's really freaking cool. Blazing Bloom and Frigid Fall. Blazing Bloom, summer and spring, and then Frigid Fall, winter and autumn? Yeah, that makes sense, right?
The Kaskade region. A region based on the Pacific Northwest, like Washington and Oregon, and then you overlay them on top of each other, pull in a bit of the surrounding areas too, and there's your region. So whatever the box legendaries are, they should definitely be fitting of the area, much more so than the starters, and much more so than the other mon as well. On top of this, they need to fit whatever the gimmick of the game is, and the lore of it all.
Yeah.
And so here's all that context that you need to know for these legendaries. The idea in this game is that the weather in the region is absolutely ridiculous due to the rapid shifting of the seasons. Remember how seasons worked in Unova? Every real-world month, the season would change for the whole region. But the real-world month is a game...
I actually didn't know that. I've never played Black or White, so... Because I never have a frickin' DS. I never had a DS or anything like that, so... I mean, I'd like one so I can play these games, but still. I don't have one, which is depressing.
Gameplay mechanic thing, rather than saying that's how seasons actually work there. Like how, for instance, loads of open world games have a day last, like, 20 minutes? That's not saying days literally last 20 minutes in their world, it's sped up for the sake of gameplay. It's symbolic. But in the Kaskade region, that's how it actually works. The region is always experiencing every season at once in each quadrant, and they rotate as the legendaries roam, sort of orbiting the mountain in the middle. This idea is fitting, as the weather in the Pacific Northwest is absolutely ridiculous. Heck, just yesterday it was hailing in the morning, and then it was 90 degrees in the evening.
Fair.
In fact, right next to us is the area that has the world record for the greatest 24-hour temperature change in the world. A change of 103 degrees in under 24 hours.
I'm not American. We don't use Fahrenheit. We use Celsius like normal people. Anyway.
Holy butts. Plus, there are just several different biomes here, and a big river, a big mountain range. It's just perfectly cut up into quarters already. And with this, the idea for the legendaries came. The seasons. But how do you... Okay,
so 2 legendaries, 2 mythicals. That makes sense. I saw it on the thumbnail of the video. But I'm curious about the lore and... I mean, I'm assuming typing would be like... Of course, one's going to be fire, one's going to be grass, one's going to be ice, and then the other one's going to be... I don't know, actually. I'm not sure. I guess also grass?
You turn Pokemon representations of the 4 seasons and turn that into lore and designs. Well, here we go. But first... Well... Here goes nothing. A fun fact! Did you know that 2/3 of dudes will experience some level of male...
Ah, there's the paid promotion. No offense, I could not care less.
All right, Professor Fur.
Ooh.
Run Menzies' theory about the
Ooh, I like this. This is very movie-like.
Again,
Well, to keep it short, long ago, back when what we now call fossil Pokemon still roamed the planet, this land didn't actually exist. It was instead merely a part of the vast ocean to the west, and according to myth, a giant bird of thunder flew across the area, followed
Zapdos?
by a behemoth under its command.
What? Am I thinking of the wrong bird? Bird of lightning. I don't think there's another one.
That behemoth expanded the land from the east.
Yeah, no
and created
shit.
What we now call the Kaskade region. Professors in other regions have since confirmed that the behemoth spoken about was a primal form of Groudon, and that the Kaskade region is likely the last bit of land it ever created. But we've still yet to identify what the giant bird of thunder is.
Zapdos. Or is it a new Pokemon? Because that's not like the shape of Zapdos. Zapdos is more frilled, I guess you could say. Is it a new Pokemon? That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Or if it even exists.
And it's not one of the Zapdos?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know much about it, but we do know that it wasn't Zapdos.
Ah.
Lightning. Big difference.
Okay, well, yes, thunder and lightning are a very large difference. But, just to my assumption, I felt like it was going to be Zapdos.
Anyway, this new land was smoldering and hot, as new land always is. It
Makes
attracted
sense.
a lot of fire and rock type Pokemon, and eventually
Also, love this pixel animation. I just want to say, sorry, I will.
always is. It attracted a lot of fire and rock type Pokemon, and eventually a powerful fiery Pokemon wandered here from the south. The legendary Manadza. It took a
Ooh.
liking to the new land, and rather than continue traveling, it took residence here. And its heat locked the region in a near eternal summer, which
Ooh.
was to its liking. It stayed here in this region for millions of years, though as it aged, it grew tired and decided to hibernate in the volcano to rest and regain its heat.
Nice.
But in its absence, the region began to cool ever more, and eventually, from the north, another legendary Pokemon meandered into the region, Arctoyield. And with its arrival,
Yo, Arctozolt's kind of jealous. Or Arctovish. Either one. The Arctos.
it brought along a downpour of snow and ice.
That's
Which
really
is
cool
what
design,
caused
though.
The entire ice age on
That
this
was like
continent.
a kind of Wolverine mixed with kind of robotic-esque and polar bear, I guess, or some type of bear. It also kind of looks Wolverine-ish, like the face structure and design of the body. It's just, or like a badger of some sorts. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking.
As it traveled, which of course led to us losing many kinds of Pokemon that we can now only revive from fossils and glaciers now.
Yeah.
And having the dark heart that it did, it cared not for those losses, completely unconcerned.
What a fucking asshole, by the way. I know legendaries are not the nicest generally, but I'm just saying, could be nicer.
As it took a liking to the cold. But when it found the Cascade region eventually, it grew fond of it. It loved the beauty of this land. The mountains, valleys, rivers, and forests were the best it had ever seen. And so, it too took residence here, but locked the region in a nigh eternal winter. The surviving heat and dryness-loving Pokemon were forced to leave, or perish, unable to handle the harshest of winters. And
Damn.
in their place came many cold and wet-loving Pokemon. But many millennia later, the cold eventually penetrated the volcano and sent a chill up Manadza's spine. It woke up and looked at what was once its territory in disgust. It hated the cold and began melting the ice in its vicinity until its part of the region was once again locked in a near eternal summer.
Nice.
But its job wasn't done. It wouldn't rest until the ice was out of its region entirely. So it moved to the next area to melt the ice there. But from another mountaintop, Arctoyield noticed that a part of its region had warmed, and this warmth was leaking into another part. To put an end to this, it began traveling to this area to
Oh,
spread its
they're gonna
wings
meet.
once more.
They're gonna fight.
And thus, their rivalry began. Both legendary Pokemon wish for full control of this land they call home, but neither is powerful enough to fully defeat the other. And so, one of them eventually blessed a Chumunk with great power to become a scout for it, to prepare the next quadrant
A
for their
Chumunk.
arrival. The
I'm
other
assuming
liked the
that's
idea
like
and followed suit.
fucking-
This led to Tom.
I'm assuming that's the Chumunk is. It's gonna be like a Skull Vet ingredient. It's just gonna be a chipmunk. I mean, I know it's a squirrel technically, but I'm just saying. It's gonna be the little boy at the beginning usually. You know, the Zigzagoon or the oh god names. Bidoof. Oh, I almost forgot Bidoof. Oh, that makes me upset.
Namunk and Temunk, essentially deities of spring
Namunk and
autumn.
Temunk.
Ever since, our region has been a seasonal anomaly in the world. Our seasons change rapidly, circling the volcano. At any given time, we experience all 4 seasons in different parts of the region. A blessing and a curse, really. We can grow seasonal crops all year round when the rest of the world has to wait, meaning during their off-season, we can export at a high price, but only the crops that grow fast enough to beat the next seasonal change. There are loads of tourist destinations here. Ski resorts, summer beaches, ice fishing, and river rapid runs, but only when the season is correct in the right area. But there is always something somewhere. And thus, compared to most other regions, the Kaskade region is an economic powerhouse.
Neat.
Home of Amazol, the richest corporation.
What the fuck? He put Amazon in a Pokemon game. Good God. And he put the Porygon and Rotom on there. Alright, nice.
Corporation in the world, and of course, many flourishing smaller businesses. And at the core, we have these 4 Pokemon to thank for it. But despite the astounding number of people that have moved here, we still only occasionally see these Pokemon. Occasional reports and occasional photos, they somehow avoid most human contact. But still, every time we get a new photo, I simply feel awe. How these and other legendary Pokemon live so long is still unknown, and I can't even imagine a life of eternal circling around the same region, rotating the seasons and nothing else. I feel like I'd quite literally go stir-crazy. I guess that's just one of the great mysteries of Pokemon.
That kind of makes sense. I mean, like, it's eternal. It's what a lot of legendary Pokemon do. They're just eternal. They always live. They don't really die. They just never die. And then they just do whatever they do for eternity. Or sleep for eternity. Depending on the Pokemon. Which is nice. But then it's very interesting. I also really freaking like these designs. They're awesome. They're either badass or cute as hell. I love it. Okay, I'm just gonna make a guess real quick. Was it Frostield and Nagado? I don't know. I forgot his name. And then Tamunk and Tumunk, I think it was. The pink chipmunk there. I'm assuming it's gonna be Grass Fairy. And then the fall chipmunk is gonna be Grass Ghost? Maybe? Frostield, or I think that's his name, is probably Ice something. Could just be Mono Ice, Mono Fire, but that wouldn't make much sense. I guess it would be Ice Water? Or Ice Ground would be Frostield. And then the other legend would be Fire. That's very hard. I'm not sure, actually. I'm gonna stop guessing and just play the video. Nice. Very cool.
Alright, back out of character now. That's the background lore of the region, which is relevant to the legendaries. So now let's
Nice.
cover some basics about them, and then get into the real myths and legends that inspired them. So, speaking of the real world now, the west coast of the United States and Canada is fairly recent in terms of land mass in the grand scheme of things. Most of it was underwater during the time of the dinosaurs, which is why we have nearly no dinosaur fossils. Which of course means that while the rest of the world was already doing its whole existing thing, this land was still rising, or in Pokemon's case, being created by Groudon, which felt perfect for the idea of Manadza migrating and finding his new land and then living in it. Migration and immigration is a huge theme in the whole game concept, and this is where it all started in the Kaskade region. But anyway, this is Manadza. It is a western fence lizard, locals of the area, crossed with a bit of a hadrosaur, because a hadrosaur fossil is the only fossil found in Oregon thus far.
That's kind of cool. I could see the hadrosaur bit, definitely. Then, of course, the lizard. Yeah. Also, badass design. I've always loved claws. Claws are always awesome. I really like the hands and feet. The feet especially. The leg design as well. The fire shifting from red into that nice blue color. And then that blue thing on its chest. I'm assuming that's also blue fire. And then it kind of reminds me of a lizard mixed... It kind of reminds me of Todoroki if he was a lizard, honestly. Just the blue fire just reminds me of ice. And then, of course, the regular fire is regular fire. This just reminds me of Todoroki. I don't know why, but, you know.
Granted, it was one of these hadrosaurs, not the iconic one, but, you know, we're using the iconic one. And take all those,
Whatever.
and you throw on a ton of fire, because it's a pyromancer. Full on, a pyromancer. It even has a flaming feather headdress, like how dinosaurs had feathers, you know?
Nice.
And how the native peoples of the area had them.
Nice.
So, it's an ancient fire psychic pyromancer lizard chief.
Fire psychic. Ooh, very interesting.
Essentially. I wanted the legends of the region to reflect real ones in various Native American cultures of the area, both because, well, as far as people go, they were here first, and it just works. The Japanese Pokemon regions reference plenty of Japanese legends. Galar's got Beowulf and King Arthur mythos stuff. Kalos has Norse and other old-timey European things, you know? But also because, as I said, a big theme of this game is migration and immigration and...
Okay, I'm realizing now the design is really good, but there's that one part right here. I'm seeing this part here. It just doesn't blend well. It doesn't go into this more. It just feels weird. I don't know why. This part, the arm going into the chest, the fire feels like it's separating the arm. That's all. Just my only thing for the character design. That's all.
And the things we gain and lose due to it. And man, that was drilled into my head every single year in elementary school. Oh, and I live here, by the way, so... But like with any culture that's not your own, just treat it with respect. Your well-researched works can reference them and be inspired by them all you want. Intent is the biggest factor in determining appropriation or not. But I can argue about how dumb people are on the far ends of either belief are for days, so let's move on. So, the feather headdress on Manadza is a reference mainly to the Paiute people, as the northern Paiute were nomadic, thus the wandering of Manadza. And their territory ranged from the bulk of Nevada all the way up to eastern Oregon, and the western...
I don't know American geography. I'm sorry.
Fence lizard is the one that happens to live in this part of Oregon. It's just good. It works. The name pulls from a few things, and I looked up pronunciation guides, but still, apologies if I messed some of these up a bit. The first part is easy, though. Mana, sometimes called mana. It's the magical energy of the earth, since it's a pyromancer. Lizard...
I call it mana, but that's just me. ZA for... No, it's za.
Is there, obviously, as well as tabadza, the Numu word for lizard. Numu being the language spoken by the Paiute. And also, their word for summer is tadza. And on top of this, ma-na-we means a long time, or forever. Essentially, this name translates to eternal magical summer lizard. It's a wizard lizard, and I love that. Oh, also it has the alchemic symbol for calcination on its chest and claws.
Ooh.
Calcination being fancy talk for the process of heating things up a lot. I gotta fit alchemy in here somehow. Now, Arctoyield. Arctoyield was significantly harder to name. Nothing quite worked. Arctoyield was the best I could come up with, but I'm not 100% happy with it. But here's what it means and what it is.
I quite like it.
Arctodus is a now extinct Ice Age bear. It was very large, and compared to modern bears, had much longer limbs and a much flatter face. Plus, it already has Arcto in the name, so Arctic. It's great. And then I remembered that it's actually the other way around, really. The Arctic and Antarctica literally mean has bears and does not have bears. Well, it also has arc, as in a high position, like a king, so that's good too. It is a big, mean bear. Ice Dark type.
Ice Dark. Okay, I see the typing. That works. That checks out. Yeah, that makes sense.
Winter is almost always portrayed as a sort of bad guy in media and myths alike, which makes sense. The cold brings harsh winters and death. Having its furry fur be mainly furry on its back is a reference to bear pelts, and the rest of its body is covered in a hard, icy armor. This symbol on its chest is reminiscent of the alchemic symbol for
I mean, it kind of makes sense if it were to be an ice steel type, but that wouldn't work with type matchups, but, you know, sorry.
Undulation. Fancy talk for freezing, or rather it's used in the process of freezing, but whatever. The name also pulls from yield, which means to give, as it gives the cold. It brought the Ice Age, expanded the Arctic, and so you gotta be really cautious around it. Yield to it, obviously. But it also pulls a bit from the Siksika word for winter, stoi. So it's a cold king bear. Neat. So get this, there is a Sixican tale about a bear that steals the winds that bring warm air, which of course causes the land to get stuck in winter. It's pretty spot on, and plenty of other nearby regions had similar tales, like those from the Chinook. We have loads of things named after the Chinook these days too. A river, a helicopter, a salmon, and the Chinook wind is the breeze responsible for the crazy weather that we have in the Pacific Northwest. Just like how the arrival of Arctoyield is what caused all the crazy seasons and weather to start happening in Kaskade. Before then, it was just locked in summer, a big desert, you know? Tamunk and Temunk.
Okay, so I want to talk. So we're just like barely halfway through this video. I might have to just come back tomorrow. I don't know if I'll have enough time. Anyway, very awesome thus far. I think I'm actually really right with the predictions for this. The Tamunk and Temunk. I'd assume it to be grass fairy, and then I'm assuming fire ghost. Then, if it were to be like that. It'd be Fire Ghost. I mean, I guess, but who knows? Maybe. We'll see.
Are there?
And then I also feel that the legendaries are awesome. I forgot the fire one again. Manadza, alright. Manadza and Arctoyield. Nice. Very awesome legendaries. Names, great things. I'll talk about my full thoughts actually right now, because, you know, whatever. Yeah, let's look at the mythicals. I'm assuming these are mythical. It makes sense.
Scouts or sidekicks, which works as a description for spring and autumn, really. Summer and winter are the big ones. The others are just the transition periods.
Fair.
Shoemunk is a simple, normal-type chipmunk Pokemon.
Yep.
It's the Sentret, or Yungoos of the region.
Exactly.
At some point, two of them were blessed and became Tamunk and Temunk. So this is cool. The monk comes from chipmunk, clearly.
Of course.
But Ta and Te. Well, Ta comes from the Paiute word for sun, Taba, or even their word for spring, Tamano. Whereas the Te comes from the Chinookan word for autumn, Mosh Tepso, literally falling leaf. They are ghost grass and fairy grass.
Almost. I guess to ghost grass. I'll take it. That's cool.
I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. Tamunk flies ahead of Manadza to prepare the land for its arrival. It gives the flowers and plants there a head start on their growth and blooming thanks to its fairy-like connection to nature. Temunk floats ahead of Arctoyield, preparing the land for its arrival. It commands the trees and plants to kill off their leaves with its ghostly grass powers.
Ooh,
and as a set of
neat.
4, I think they symbolize the seasons perfectly when you look at their type.
Yeah.
Their type square. Type square. Yeah, it's a square now because there's 4, not 3. Fire.
Okay.
Psychic.
I was actually about to do that right now. I have like paper beside me. I was about to pull out a pen and be like, "All right, here's how this works, boys." Let's start typing. So yeah, this works very well. And then so ghost, psychic, ghost kills psychic, fairy kills ghost, fairy kills dark, fairy. But for the mythicals, it's like fairy kills ghost still. So I felt like a ghost fire type would work better. But I understand why it was ghost grass, just because. Wait, is fairy super effective against ghost? I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I might be words. I might be wrong, but because I know my type advantage just felt like that's all right. And then fire obviously kills grass. Ice kills grass as well. Fire and and then fire kills ice. Dark kills psychic. Yeah, it works out. The square works. The square works.
Psychic versus Ice Dark. They are both super effective against each other and resistant to each other. Heck, Arctoyield is immune to Manadza's psychic attack because it has entropy on its side. And that's super dark when you think about it. And the chipmunks also work. Both being grass, the fire and ice of summer and winter are super effective against both of them. But then the fairy of spring is strong against the dark of winter, whereas the ghostly demise of autumn is strong against the lively body heat of summer. So their type triangle square looks like this, essentially. All is balanced.
Nice.
As it should be. Speaking of, this whole rivalry that they have with each other is inspired by a tale from the Paiute that other nations would adopt in some of their own tales as well. It is the story of how the seasons came to be.
Nice.
And long story short,
All right, let's hear this.
Wolf calls a meeting. All of the animals come together to
What did that say?
Wolf calls a meeting. All of the
Yep.
animals come together to discuss the weather. and what they should do about it. But they didn't invite Coyote because nobody likes Coyote. He is a know-it-all, a smart aleck, a prick. So the
A prick. I muted it. Whoops. Shit.
to debating, and Grizzly Bear said, "It should be cold all the time because I have long fur, and when it's cold, the rivers are full of fish, and I like fish." But then the lizards and snakes said they hated that idea. They would freeze to death. No, it should be hot all the time so they can relax in the sun. Bear and the other long-furred animals hated that idea. They would basically melt. So lots of debating happened, and it went for a long, long time. Even after the meeting, lots of conflict was had. And then, eventually, Coyote caught wind of this and was like,
"Oh, hey, guys, you're all stupid. Just invent seasons."
and everybody soon realized that that was a very good idea. But they hated that it came from Coyote. But they did it anyway. And that is how the seasons came to be.
Of course.
So, Winter Bear versus Summer Lizard. And wise old Coyote saves the day.
Ooh. That's a fun little legend.
Oh yeah, so here's Wickoot, a wise
And yeah, here's
old
Wickoot.
coot coyote who is a bit wicked. In most native
Obviously ghost, but what's the other type?
American tales, Coyote is portrayed as a trickster, a prankster. It knows a lot, and
Is that its ability? Is it Billy Trickster or Prankster?
it's a jerk about it. So, it is a psychic dark type.
So it's not ghost. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Psychic dark. Yeah, fair enough.
Mythical. Now then,
Mythical.
as far as stats and abilities go, Arctoyield is all in with its
Physical attack and defense.
physical attack and physical defense.
Yeah.
Manadza is the same with special attack and special defense.
Yep.
It sounds like
But then the only difference would be Manadza would be speedy, and then Arctogild would be increased health.
they'd kill each other pretty quick until you consider their abilities. The first special attack launched at Arctoyield per battle is reflected back at the attacker for free. It essentially tanks it out with its reflective armor. And that blown off bit of icy armor then starts up some windy hail.
Ooh.
Likewise, the first physical attack at Manadza is countered. Essentially, the attacking Mon gets lost in the heat waves and smoke and flames after Manadza dodges, and now it's hurt by the fire that was in its place. And in the process of this, it begins a windy drought. Tamunk and Temunk then are pretty even overall. They're balanced. And their abilities each trigger a weather condition upon leaving the Pokeball. Pollinated air or cursed winds. Two new weathers that will be explained in the weather video.
Interesting.
Signature moves. Wildfire has Manadza cast multiple fireballs all around it, damaging
Pyro Ball times 10.
the enemy team and starting fires on the battlefield, removing previously existing weather conditions and causing a smoky drought.
Nice.
Whiteout has Arctoyield charge
Whiteout.
forward while summoning a glacier wall behind it which explodes on impact, damaging the enemy team, removing previously existing weather conditions, and replacing it
Hail.
with a snowy hailstorm.
Yep.
Efflorescence causes Tamunk to grow flowers all around it and
Efflorescence.
its
Pretty.
allies, healing just them a bit right now, and allowing everyone on the battlefield to heal a little bit each turn. More so if the sun is out, and more so if the Pokemon is fairy or grass type. Languishing Aura causes Temunk to summon a ghostly sensation of withering on the enemy's side of the battlefield, causing them to experience minor damage now, and then everyone on the battlefield continues to take minor damage each turn. More so if the air is cursed, and less so to not at all if they are dark or ghost type. Oh yeah, and Wickoot. Might as well explain my ideas for the mythical as well. So Wickoot is a wise old trickster, so it needs a tricky gimmick, right? Well, its ability, Neutralize, functions similarly to Galarian Weezing's neutralizing gas, where all Pokemon abilities do not trigger while it's out, except it will also nullify all weather effects when it reaches half HP. Fun. Its stats are interesting. It's much slower than most and doesn't have the best HP, but it makes
Ooh, special attack and physical defense. This is the only idea. So increased special attack, increased defense, very low special defense, increased. I think it should be the other way around. Personally, I think it should be really strong attack and then a high special defense. If it were to be like that, and then like more speedy, like average speed, average health. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
except for it with an interesting new move. Potentially not a signature, though, as I could see others utilizing it well, too. Hoodwink is a priority move that swaps the user's special and physical stat.
Got it.
It lets them adapt to the situation and potentially bamboozle some foes. And its actual signature move, Hornswoggle, has it act like a victim. You wouldn't hurt an old coot, would you? Which sharply lowers the foe's attack and special attack.
Oh man, the power creep!
I feel like these work well with the trickster idea. So on top of all this, I'd like mythical Pokemon to also be like some legendary Pokemon. Too many Pokemon these days are just given to us. I remember when legendary and mythical Pokemon had events in-game where you had to get them, or like explore a cave or some island. You know, something neat. Anything's better than just, oh hey, here, you have it now. Or, oh, you entered a code. Here's a battle. Catch it with a quick ball. And, you know, I want that back. I want to get the good stuff back. So in this case, here's my idea.
Makes sense.
Being a mythical, it would still have a real-world event, like a giveaway thing, but all it would do is make Wakut appear in one of the 3 wild areas. You know which wild area, but it's always wandering and changing. Basically, I want it to be like the old legendary beasts, where it will also try to run away the whole time. Maybe even at one point, pretend to be caught. You are now in the overworld. You take one step, and oh, nope, he left. He got out. Huh. Wouldn't that be hilarious to people who don't know it's a thing?
That'd be freaking awesome. That would be so funny.
It only does that once, though. The second time you catch it, it's yours. Now, yeah, that's them. That is the lore and design behind the box legendaries, plus the bonus mythical. What they do while playing the game and how they interact with the evil team and you and everything is being saved.
I'm very curious what the evil team's gonna be. If it's a Mazeall, I'm gonna lose my shit.
For the plot video, and I know you'll love it. Thanks so much for watching. Next time we'll go into some other just regular Pokemon. My ideas for them. They're all
Nice. All right. Now thoughts. This was awesome. This is a very funny This is a very fun video, just in general. Names. Arctoyield and Manadza. Arctoyield, Manadza, Tamunk, and Wakut are all awesome. I think if I were to do one, I'd do, was it Blazing Bloom and Frigid Fall? I'd say I would do Blazing Bloom because I enjoy the designs of the Pokemon better, and I enjoy, and technically type advantage. If you're battling someone like Mythical versus Mythical, Legend versus Legend, Blazing Bloom would win, in my opinion. That's just what I think would happen. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I don't really have many. This was freaking awesome, I want to say. I don't have too many thoughts for this. This is awesome. Recommended reactions for different stuff. Recommend some games that you would like me to play on the channel. I could just post the full thing if you want, or can cut it down. Either one. I don't care. Just trying to make content, man. And please subscribe, like the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.